Hello, Will. Happy New Year. It was lovely to spend Christmas with you. Hello, world, as well. Looking forward to spending 2022 with you. And hello to everybody who's loving the Dirtbox guitars like we are. I was thinking about what I was going to talk about in this video today. I wanted it to just be a bit of a window into what I'm doing. I thought about talking about the guitars. I thought about talking about all sorts of other stuff. But what I've decided is the best way I think these videos are going to be as genuine as possible is if I just talk about what's actually going on right now with my musical exploits and what the next thing is on the calendar and what's actually in my head. So this Sunday I've got a set that's going to be folk. It's in the Barrel pub in Bude, where it's kind of my musical home, where I get paid to do all the music for the pub on Sunday, little micro pub. It's great. Every Sunday I get paid to book the acts, come and make sure that it's well attended, do some promotion, and choose the acts and liaise and do all that type of stuff, which is great. And I run the open mic night there as well, so it's like a proper my way of creating a bit of musical community around here, and I love it. And within that, I'm going to be doing one full Sunday gig a month, which will be loads of, to keep it fresh, it'll be loads and loads and loads of different format stuff. So it'll be some collaboration stuff, some duos, some trios, hopefully play with you when you're next down, that'd be really cool. And maybe just do like a Dirtbox only set, do a blues only set, do a one day maybe an a cappella only set, which would be really challenging, but that's not what what I've agreed to do this month is a folk only, which I've done before. I'm really looking forward to it, and I've got the next few days to I've decided on the set. Next few days I've got to rehearse the set, and then I've got to rehearse it again and then I've got to make sure I've got all the kind of like lyric prompts and stuff like that I need. So I thought I'd talk to you about how I go about doing that and why first of all I bloody love folk music. Transatlantic American and Canadian stuff is great. Celtic of all types, traditional English, not so much traditional English stuff, as in the trad English folk can be a bit grating on me, can be a bit boring, lacking a bit of tempo, whereas the jigs and reels of the Irish and stuff and the Scots are really good. But then the English tradition is rich and the stories are fantastic. There aren't that many recordings that really get me hard, for want of a better phrase, but so how do I go about making the how do I go about choosing the set to start with? So I'm looking down at my phone now. So first thing that I do, I'm always plugged in, like many people. It is already. This is a song called When First I Came to Caledonia. This version is Norma Waterson of the Watersons. So one of the cool things about doing this is I get to do a kind of who's who of the royalty of folk music of all sorts. So I'm going to play some stuff by Martin Carthy, some stuff by Norma Waterson, who are married, and Norma Waterson was part of the Watersons, who were in the 60s one of the biggest UK folk acts while folk was in its heyday, or in its pomp anyway. And this song particularly I loved to play because a lot of my heroes play it. That's how I got introduced to it, through Chris Wood's music. But the song is When First I Came to Caledonia, and I got loaded in at number 3. I started lodging with Donald Norman. He had a daughter that could make good tea. It's lovely. It's a man's song, and the man's voice. He's talking about all sorts of things to do with being a young boy and not shaving very much and falling in love with a woman and being treated badly by your employer. But it's set to this wistful kind of transatlantic kind of feel. It's actually Canadian, so it probably is British Isles originally, but it's Canadian in origin as far as I can work out this origin, this version anyway. But Norma Waterson is a woman and she sings it in a way that makes it more meaningful than any man I've ever heard sing. So that's why I like it, and it's worth talking about. Do you know any songs that have been covered by, that have been gender swapped, that have ended up working better? It's an interesting question. So this one's going to be on the list. I'm going to play that in open C. I'm going to probably focus on all the tunings, so not focusing on any of them at all. I'll be in open C. So that's C, G, C, G, C, D, and you can change the D to an E sometimes. I'm going to do my open G, which is a C, G. I'm not going to be able to do this actually, top of my head. I'm a little bit tired, but open G with a C on the bottom of it. Dad, gad, dad, dad for a couple. Double drop D. And probably open D in standard. All on a couple of guitars, which is a little bit annoying because I'm going to ruin a couple of the guitars' necks if I keep doing this, which I've been told. It's a whole different video. We'll talk about the necks. Or maybe I did talk about it already. I can't remember, but doesn't matter. So anyways, this one will be an open C. You can play it in all sorts of different tunings. See what else was on my list. So the way I collected a lot of these songs was by going to folk clubs. For a long time, when I lived in Exeter, I'd go to Bradnich and Topsham and a couple in some villages I can't remember around Exeter. There are some fantastic songs that you find just by going to clubs like that, and people. It was one of the best things I've ever done musically. Actually, I'm super glad I did it. I found this song called "The Fireman's Song" by the Ian Well, the version I've got is the Ian Campbell folk group, but the lyrics are a locum fireman is my trade, shoveling coal is my game. No, is my name, is my trade. The fireman thinks he runs the show. No, the driver thinks he runs the show, but if I'm not there, the train don't go. So it's the guy shoveling coal into the steam engine, absolutely bitching about the fact that the driver gets all of the good stuff. And it's a lovely crowds can sing along to this one really, really well. And there's loads in here. Dougie MacLean, Caledonia, really good Scottish traditional song. Not traditional, but it's a good sing along. I'm just going to list a couple of names off. Crossing Over to America, Last Thing on My Mind by Tom Paxton, which is an American one, but it crossed over here really well from '66. Oh, the Corries version of the Bonnie Ship the Diamond, which is about a whaling ship, which is great. And there's a little project around that actually, which will be because of the mode that Bonnie Ship the Diamond is in. It goes so it's cheer up, my lads, let your heart never sail, for the Bonnie Ship the Diamond goes a hunting for the whale. Well, let's cheer up, my lads, let your heart never sail, for the Bonnie Ship the Diamond goes a hunting for the whale. You could do what shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hunt the hare and turn around the rocky road, and all the roads are double and whack for la-di-da. There's those three that I'd really like to put together with another one, because they're all in the same mode, and it crosses Scottish, English, Irish really well in the same mode. That's a little project that I've got anyway, to mix those three together into a little medley. So hopefully this is interesting to everybody. I'm just kind of reeling off what I have to do. There's a great one called Hard Times of Old England, which is a classic. It's a classic folk song. I think it's quite old. I don't really know the history of it, but I know a lot of people have done versions of it. Steel Eye Span were the kind of pop rock folk band, with Maddie Pryor singing. She's absolutely stunning voice. I don't like their version. I like the opening verse of their version, which goes like this. This doesn't matter if this gets demonetised, because we're not into this to make money, are we? it's great. And then shit, and the mix of the vocals is way too low, and it's just like it's like pop music. It's terrible, but there's a great version by the Imagined Village, which is like a folk supergroup with Billy Bragg and all sorts of people, Afro Celt Sound System and loads of people doing an updated version of this song, which is supposed to be from the people that live and work salt of the earth, the proper word, the salt of the earth, the proper use of it, the salt of the earth, moaning about how they keep getting fucked over by people who are just taking away all of their services, their ability to work, being conscripted into wars and stuff that they shouldn't have to go and fight. And Billy Bragg and his crew updated it to complain about the Tesco's coming along and screwing up the fact that you can't sell your own vegetables on the side of the road very profitably anymore, and the post office closing and all that type of stuff, which is great. And I'm going to add my own verses in at some point as well. What else have I got here? Dick Gaughan. I love Dick Gaughan to pieces. I talked about him earlier on. I'm probably going to do The World Turned Upside Down, or Handful of Earth. I think it's called The World Turned Upside Down, which is about the Diggers' Rebellion in 1649 in the north, where these perfectly righteous and correct people called the Diggers, who are kind of an offshoot of the Quakers, who rightly believed that it's ridiculous that you can have private ownership of land, and how dare anyone say that you can own a patch of earth when it's a common treasury for all men, as they say in there. And it's the true story of how they came together to work the common land and to have a good time, and to work hard, raise families, and live by the grace of the natural world. And how the crown didn't like that, and the crown sent the hired men and troopers to wipe out the diggers' claim, tore down their cottages, destroyed their corn. They were dispersed, but the vision lingers on. So, you poor, take courage. You rich, take care. This earth was made a common treasury for every man to share. I love that song deeply. All of these songs I know thereabouts how I'm going to play. There's a new one by, well, not a new, I've known it for years, but I've never learned how to play it, and I want to add it in for Sunday. Will be Midnight Feast by Lau. Lau are a Scottish trio led by the great Chris Drever, who's that's Krisdrever. He's really inspirational for me. I think he's an amazing player, an amazing singer, an amazing songwriter. He's just amazing. And Midnight Feast, particularly the video of them playing at the Celtic Connections, is, well, for what's going on in my life at the moment, really, really powerful. And actually shed a little tear when I was listening to it earlier. It's a lovely song, so I'd like to do a version of that. So that's a kind of whistle-stop tour of some of the music I'm going to be doing. In terms of how I actually go about really constructing a set out of that, I will just do it in terms of what my guitar's tuned to. So I'll do a loaded open G, which this one's in right now. So that's a G, and then there's a C on the bottom of this. So it's normally an E, so it's gone from an E to a C. It's gone a long way down, but it means that you can play G from the 5th string, and then when you need to play what I call the 4 chord, or what is called the 4 chord, so the next one up here, which will be a C, obviously a C, it means you can bar there, but you got that on there as well, which can also be played like this. And then the 5 is... so I'll be doing a song called Peggy Gordon like this, which is another kind of cross transatlantic, Irishy, Scottishy one, which goes... Peggy Gordon, you are my darling. Come sit you down upon my knees. sing to me the very reason why I am slighted so by thee. Which gives you a little flavour. It's lots of stuff like that, lots of ballads, lots of these and thines and those and stuff like that. I could talk about this set for ages, but this evening I'm going to write a full list of the songs I want to play, and that'll be way more than I'm going to get to play on Sunday. Plus I'll drop in a couple of my own songs, so there'll be a song called The Mirror from my first EP, which is available on Bandcamp for anyone else who's watching this who wants to see it. That's James Dixon Music on Bandcamp from the Bromeliad sessions. A song called The Mirror, and then probably off the last record, you know, I might even do the one that we played together, actually, the one which you joined me on about Nan and Grandad. I'll do the old Dancing on the Water, just because I was in the water today and saw the sunlight, and it was cold and beautiful in the sea today, and I was like, there it is, there they are. It was lovely. Maybe that's something to talk about in a later video, how that process all worked. That was great. I'm going to write that down. You know, I'm not going to edit this out. I'm just going to do these as stream of consciousness, otherwise they'll never get made. And that's 16 minutes of me talking about this stuff as well. So yeah, I'll write them all down. Then I'll go through them one by one, make sure the tuning's right, write down which capo it's going to be on, then try and go through them so that I know all the words. Only about half of these I will know all the words for, because I don't play. It's only about 5 or 6 of these that I'll play regularly. This is the stuff that I kind of bring in and play specifically for stuff like this, just because it's important to play. It's important to play traditional folk music, particularly when you're only really playing American bluesy stuff other than that. So this is important to me. So it's important to the culture of where we live as well. So I'll go through that. So I'll have a tuning, I'll have a capo, and I'll then work out if I need to write lyrical prompts. That will just be in a notepad. I'll just be doing shorthand, so I've got something to prompt myself, and then I will get to the gig and play the gig. Pretty cool. If anyone wants to see it, it will be streaming between 2 and 4 p.m. on Sunday on the Barrel at Buttes Facebook page. So yeah, that's what I have to say. Maybe at another time I'll talk about this guy, which is right here, one of my 3-stringers from the man himself. That will be making an appearance on Sunday. I'm not sure in what context yet, but it will be played. Everything else will be on a 6-string acoustic, probably not even the resonator. But we'll see. I hope this has been jolly informative and very, very interesting. I'm going to have a bath because I've had a hell of a day. And yeah, lots of love. Let me know what's going on with the next time you're playing your set, Will. I want to know, do you choose to do specific sets? I mean, we're different in terms of what we end up going out to do. It'd be interesting to know if you do stuff like that. Peace and grace.